So the incident occurred in the 500 block of Bay Street near North Goodman Street at approximately 12:35 this morning in the area of 500 block of Bay Street. An officer observed a 23-year-old male walking erratically in the middle of the street. 4 minutes later, at 12:39 a.m., the officers observed the male smash a Hennessy bottle in the street, at which time the officers did step out with the male in an effort to engage him in front of a residence in the 500 block of Bay Street. While trying to check on the individual, the male shouted to officers multiple times, "Are you going to kill me? Kill me. Gangster, I wish you would kill me." The male was pacing back and forth in the middle of the street in a fighting posture, continuing to repeat the aforementioned. Officers attempted to detain the male as he continued to walk in the middle of the roadway. Officers at this point were concerned with the well-being of the individual. The male resisted attempts by officers to place the individual into handcuffs and fought with the officers, and at one point did bite an officer during the struggle. The male was arrested after a brief struggle with the officers. During the arrest, the male was pepper sprayed, after which the male stated he couldn't breathe. The male was ultimately transported to the hospital where he was treated and released. While at the scene, he was treated by EMS personnel. The individual is currently in the Monroe County Jail on assault second charges for the biting incident of the officer. The officer who was bit was treated at Rochester General Hospital and released. During the arrest, another male, 21 years of age, just stepped out of his home where the initial arrest occurred and started to record the arrest on his cell phone. The male who was recording did approach the officers, and after being told to stay back by the officers, was subsequently arrested. This male was subsequently taken into custody in the entryway of his residence on Bay Street after a brief struggle. After being transported to the hospital and treated for minor injuries, the 21-year-old, the individual who was recording the incident, was issued an appearance ticket for obstructing governmental administration in the second degree and resisting arrest. After learning of this video being circulated on social media, members of my command staff and I did come in this morning to review the body-worn camera footage of the involved officers, to include the video circulating on social media. After reviewing the video from this incident and the officers' body-worn camera footage, I have consulted with the district attorney and decided to not pursue the charges of obstructing governmental administration and resisting arrest. The aforementioned charges are in relation to the individual who was recording the initial arrest on his cell phone. Upon review of the camera footage, I find that there is no justification nor evidence to support the charge of obstructing governmental administration, as there was no physical force, physical interference, or threat of physical force or physical interference to prevent or attempt to prevent the officer from making a lawful arrest. And it's important for me to be transparent and take a look at this and get in front of it. One of the things that I did was, me and several members of my command staff, we did come in this morning to take a look at the video, to review reports, and based on that, I find that there was not enough to substantiate a charge of obstructing governmental administration in the second degree, nor was there enough to substantiate the charge of the subsequent charge of resisting arrest that comes along with it. Again, the message to the public is it's okay to record. I welcome the video. The video helps me make determinations, as they did this morning. When we're right, I'll stand up here and say we're right. When we're wrong, I'll stand up here and say we are wrong. Again, it's the interpretation of the officer at that particular point in time. And what I have to do is, when the situation's kind of calmed down, I have a little bit more time to look at the situation than the officer on the street. And, the officer's perception, I have to marry that with what the reality is of the law. And if it doesn't match up, if it doesn't marry up, then we have to do what we have to do to ensure that we're doing the right thing. And part of this press conference is being transparent.